Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Parents Engaging Parents Beloved Community Check-In. My name is Erica Beverett, and I'm checking in from the PEP office here in Newark, New Jersey. Excited again. Once again, we're going to have our guest on from the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, Sirine. She is a nutrition educator, and she's going to be sharing with us some food smarts so that we can get to know the do's and the don'ts of when it comes to consuming our food, preparing our food, and even shopping for our food. So excited to have that today. And then also, of course, I would love to share with you our mission, and our PEP's mission is to promote civic awareness and proactive community action based on the interests of parents and community leaders. So with that, I do have a couple of announcements to make. Of course, we are actually still looking for, we are recruiting EJ ambassadors. I know the weather is about to break, so we're definitely looking for people to join us in the fight for cleaner water. And a part of that is definitely just sharing with people that there is a program called the lead service line replacement program through Passaic Valley Water Commissioners. And what they are doing is in Passaic, in Patterson, in Prospect Park, we are looking, we are sharing the information that, and also Clifton, sorry. And we're sharing the information that they might possibly have a lead line there at their property. So what we're looking for folks to do is to have that pipe replaced, and that replacement would happen for free. So if you do see folks in the neighborhood that have a PEP hat on or a shirt, and they're knocking on doors and they're sharing flyers, is to let y'all know that you might be eligible for this lead service line replacement in your neighborhood. Thanks for sharing. Also, we do have coming up, and I'm gonna just bring Miss Elise to the stream. Miss Elise, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Hey. So what's going on in your neighborhood, Miss Elise?
Just got in the house from being with seniors today from 12 until 2, bringing the blessings to the seniors over at 545 Park Avenue. And
Mm-hmm.
so I spent my lunchtime with them, bringing the blessings with them. And now I'm home getting ready for tomorrow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to pick up tomorrow with HelloFresh and get ready for this weekend because this weekend is Earth Day.
You're right. It is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, y'all. How are you taking care of the earth, Miss Elise?
Well, we're going to be doing kits. I have earth kits with flowers and plants that's going to
Beautiful.
be the community
Nice.
each.
Let's see. Beautiful. Yes, because we need plants in our life because they help bring oxygen, of course, right?
Yes, yes. So we're going to
And
be
we
giving
have,
for the first 12. The first 12 will receive um, pot kits.
nice. Well, y'all better get there early so that you can get your kit.
Hmm?
Okay. And another thing that we do have going on that's coming up, and that's Healthy Kids Day. That's going to be with East Orange YMCA. We're going to be joining them um, uh, at 12 to 2 on May 6th.
Yes,
Yes, from 12 to 2 on May 6th, we're going to be joining Healthy Kids Day, bringing in the blessings and giving out the blessings, right?
yes.
All right. and that's going to be at 100 North Arlington Avenue in East Orange. So definitely join us out there as well. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Bree in.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's going on, Miss Bree?
I'm very good.
Good. Um,
Okay, sorry. I don't
no,
want the
no
feedback to
worries.
happen.
I know what happens when we have guests with us. Yeah. So what's going on in your neighborhood, Bree?
Nothing much. Just been working and helping out my mom with the bringing the blessings and everything.
Okay. Okay.
And
Are you surprised? You're looking surprised. Wait a second. Your birthday just passed.
yes, it was actually yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Thank you for bringing in the blessings with your team over there. We're going to start calling you Team West.
Yes. Our whole group was down in Patterson, giving out the blessings down at the Madison St. James Church.
Yes, it was Madison Avenue Baptist Church. Yes, we joined Miss Shaniqua Lemon, who was a part of the League of Women Voters of Patterson, joined us, and they got some folks to register for voting. So we are excited that we did that because it's about to be that season again. Like,
Yeah,
we need to get it pop and get ready.
to vote. I've been registered to vote since I turned 18.
Yeah, same. So yeah, sometimes I think people don't realize that they can. So I was definitely glad that she was there and we were able to serve lots of people in the community. We served over 200 children. I know that. And it was 125 registrants or families that came through. So we were really glad to serve them. And we did not, let me tell you something. There's one thing we're bringing in the blessings. And our team here at PEP, we do not run out of food, okay?
Not at all. Yeah, the truck was like really packed and everything. Like we literally had to like stuff everything and like pray it didn't fall out when we opened the door.
No, I'm definitely glad that we were able to share those blessings. And Madison Avenue Baptist Church was so gracious as to open up their doors. And if you'd like to have more of those resources to come to your cities, please do not hold back. Please donate to PEPNJ.org. You can hit that donate button and donate so that we can continue to make these things happen in our communities and bring it through yours. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring the nutrition educator onto the screen with us. Sirine.
Hi, everybody. I love hearing all these nice things. And I love that you refer to food as blessings.
Yes.
I might adopt that word. I really, really like that.
Really, they really are because you know what? They bring nourishment. When you think about it, it brings nourishment to our bodies. It helps sustain our wellness. So yeah, that is a
blessing. Definitely. Well, I'm very happy to be back this week, speaking with everybody about how we can lead a bit of a healthier life through nutrition and physical activity. If you don't know me, my name is Sirine Kiplawi. I'm a nutrition educator with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. We're a delivery agent for SNAP-Ed. And today, we are going to talk about food processing and marketing. But before I start,
Mm-hmm.
I will go to the next slide, please, Erica. We will just say, start with our Justice for All statement, which just says that we do not discriminate based on any characteristics in accordance with the federal civil rights law when we dispense these classes. And we can go on. So last time we spoke about building a wholesome diet. We talked about very quickly about my plate. We spoke about how we can think of the components of our plate when we are eating or when we are preparing a meal, or even if we go out. Today, we're going to talk about food processing and marketing.
Okay, great.
So we're going to start with our SMART goal check-in like we did last time. We'll keep it short this time because we were very detailed on SMART goals last time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about food processing. We'll talk about how we can make better choices when we are eating out. Let's say, or picking up maybe some fast food or doing takeout or sitting in a restaurant. And then we are going to watch a recipe. And this recipe is going to be apple crisp today.
Ooh, yummy.
It is delicious. So I would love to start with a question for anyone who maybe was here last week or knows what a SMART goal is. Have you made any SMART goals this week?
Miss Elise, have you made any SMART goals? I'm going to add you to stream. Bree?
I know Elise gave some good examples last time. She said she was going to slow down, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant that she was going to work from home, right, Elise?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I slowed down a little bit, not much though, but yeah.
Okay.
I think I did good. I got sweet potato fries with a burger instead of onion rings that I usually get.
Okay, that's a healthier choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a real difference compared to the usual onion rings. The sweet potatoes was like a nice like a sweetness, and it wasn't too like heavy because like you know how usually like fries have you hit like
Yes.
Yes. Well, a lot of the time, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, is processed and fast foods are deliberately made to be tasty. They're made to be high in fat, high in salt. And so you really enjoy them when you're having them.
Mm-hmm.
But the feeling that they give you after a while, whether it be you're too full, or maybe you're a bit sluggish, or maybe you're a bit tired, that is actually a real thing. But we are going to get to that. So what would be some reasons that we would eat fast or processed foods?
Like if you were like too busy to cook and you're like in a rush, or like it's too like too late to cook and you don't want it too hot in the house, especially if it's during the summertime. You could just like go out, get something quick, and that's why a lot of people choose. Or if they're bored, I know when I'm bored, I like to eat.
So sometimes it's time. Time could be a factor. You don't have the time. You're at work all day. You come back home, you don't feel like it. Sometimes it could be you're tired. Sometimes we only have in our repertoire just a few recipes and we put these on repeat. And yes, we can get bored. And so getting something from the outside that is a bit different, something that we wouldn't make, it would be an option. And would you say that you prefer fast or processed foods over home cooked meals? Well, that's a question for everyone.
Like home cooked foods, because my mom can cook. I love when my mom cooks. I do prefer home cooked meals, but there is like certain meals that I do prefer when it comes to fast food. Well, I wouldn't call it fast food. Like ramen is
Okay.
like Korean ramen is like my go-to, or kimchi, which is still
Oh,
healthy. I
yes.
love kimchi.
Yes, kimchi is delicious. For those who don't know what kimchi is, it's a fermented cabbage that is prepared in the Korean culture, and it is it can be quite spicy. And I remember once I went to a Korean colleague years ago, and she actually kept a special kimchi fridge in her home because it's a different temperature for the fermentation than a regular fridge. It has to be a bit warmer. But yes, that is a staple in Korean culture, and it is very healthy for you. It's got a lot of good live cultures, kind of like yogurt, different cultures, really good for gut health.
Yeah, I always have like a big jar in the house. Like I finish it
Ooh.
all by
Good for
myself because my mom
you.
doesn't eat. Yeah, my mom doesn't eat kimchi. She thinks I'm weird when I eat all of that type stuff. But I usually like order it, and it comes in a big jar, and it'll be done by like in like 4 days.
Oh, good for you. I
Mm.
think a lot of people find it a little bit different as well because it has a smell due to the fermentation. It's a bit funky, but not in a bad way. It's just something that you kind of, I think it's acquired taste, right? Something you get used
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
All right.
I would really rather, of course, home cooked meal, but I know that one of the reasons why some people do resort to fast food because it might even be cheaper than going to the supermarket and buying the whole food at in some instances. Like when we're thinking about um, folks in the city that might just have like the bodega that's next to them, and a lot of the things are marked up. Um, it might be cheaper to just go to the local um, fast food restaurant and just go. I'm not going to say their names, but because I'm not endorsing them,
No names
but
here.
we all know who they are. And so a lot of times I think that because because it's a lot cheaper sometimes just to feed the family, they'll just go for the fast food.
And that's a very valid point. Um, it is again, we're going to come to this in a bit, but yes, fast food doesn't take doesn't cost a lot, and it doesn't cost the producer of it a lot either. So it is easy to produce in big batches, and it is easy to sell because it is highly palatable, which means it is very tasty. But there are ways, even if you live in the city, let's say, there are ways. City, are we talking New York, or are we talking like here in New Jersey still?
Yeah, New Jersey, any urban area, like a lot of times there's not
In general,
necessarily large supermarkets available.
that's true.
Yeah.
And yes, so there are environmental reasons, obviously, how the environment around us is structured. Like you say, there are places that may not have a grocery store available within a walking or a driving distance, or a family may not even have the transportation means, maybe to get to a grocery store that is close by. Definitely, there are environmental factors that can go into that. All right. So moving on to thinking about fast food. And this is where we get to some explanations of why it is so inexpensive. It is usually made with cheaper ingredients. So if you think about the closest like burger joint and fries and things like that, you think about potatoes, you think about white bread, you think about ground beef. In general, those ingredients are more affordable than maybe other ingredients that could be used to produce fast food, which then it would not be cheap if they were to use more expensive ingredients. They would have to charge you more. They also use a lot of fat and salt, and that's to make the food tasty. So highly palatable foods have a lot of sodium, have a lot of fat, and those flavors keep you coming for more. And they tend to have fewer nutrients because they tend to have less vegetables in general, and less grains, and less fruits. So they rely mainly on sources of carbohydrate and fat. And eating too much or eating fast food regularly over years and years and years. And if you all remember, last time we talked, when we were talking about health, we said that our health is a product of our habits over a long time. So if you in general try to follow a healthful diet, but every once in a while you treat yourself and you have a fast food meal, or you go out, or you do take out, you order in, you have birthday cake, whatever it is, that is not going to affect your health long term if they are for special events and if they don't happen regularly. It's what we do regularly that affects our health. So if we regularly eat a lot of fast food that is high in sodium and high in fat, we are more prone to develop high blood pressure in the future as we get older. We are more prone for heart disease. We are more prone to gain weight. And we are more prone to actually feel a bit slow, a bit sluggish. Does that make sense? So our health is a product of the long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can attest for feeling that way after I eat that food.
I think when I ask this question, I'm going to ask it now. One food that you love to take out, but once you have it, you kind of, after a while, feel a bit not your best.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of a food that does that to you?
Yeah, I'll definitely say French fries, like anything.
Okay.
Or that burger. Yeah,
Okay.
I always feel not too good after that.
Okay.
Me, I think mine is on pizza. I order like especially Domino's pizza because they put like that garlic butter on the crust, and I just be like, yeah.
Yeah, for me too, it is. I love pizza, but if I have more than one or two slices, after a while, I feel, I feel a bit sluggish. I feel a bit tired. And there's an explanation for that. High in fat, high in carbs, and it takes, some time to digest. So your system is putting in quite a bit of effort to digest that food, and it directs all your circulation and your blood to your digestive system. So you feel a bit slow, you feel a bit tired, and that is a normal response when you have a very satiating meal.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about food processing, does anyone remember maybe from last time a little bit, we spoke a bit about processed foods versus whole foods?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, we said that whole foods are mainly unprocessed. They come in their natural forms. We think of vegetables and fruits and fresh produce. We think of mainly vegetables and fruits and fresh produce. But when we talk about minimally processed foods, we're talking about foods that are close to their natural state, but they've just been processed a little bit to maybe turn them into something different. Kind of like I mentioned last time, popping corn. Mm-hmm. When you add a little bit of heat to actual corn kernels, they will pop and the inside comes out and they make a wonderful snack. They're still a great snack. They're still full of fiber, but you don't get that result unless you add some heat to it. when we talk about whole grain flour, for example, you're taking the wheat and you're processing it into a flour, but you're not removing the bran. So that is minimally processed because it still has most of its fiber content and most of the vitamins and the nutrients that are within the kernel, the grain of the wheat in it. Mm-hmm. But then when we go to ultra processed foods, those are foods that have been changed quite a bit from their natural states. And usually they will be found on the snack shelves of your supermarket or in the candy aisles, things like crackers and chips and some cereals, not all cereals, but some cereals. And usually they tend to have a long ingredient list.
Yeah, that's what I find myself looking for nowadays, like what exactly is in the ingredients. And when I see that laundry list,
yes,
I don't want it. I find myself putting it down or walking away.
And that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing at all. We will talk more on ingredients and labeling next time. And we will learn how to better identify, even if there is a bit more of a lengthy list, but we'll learn how to identify whether a product is worth buying and including in our diet or not. But for now, we are going to do a little exercise. So we're going to look at some ingredients, and we are going to try to guess in each one, which one falls under the minimally processed, not processed, or whole, and ultra processed. And the first one we have here is corn and some products of corn. So would someone like to take a stab at this?
I will. So corn is the whole food.
Yes.
The canned corn is the ultra processed food because it's cooked so it could try to preserve its original taste. And then the corn chips depends on if it's the natural corn chips or the ones that are flavoring. It could be. I think that's the minimally processed.
Okay. Anyone else would like to guess?
I'm gonna say the corn on the cob is a whole, then the canned, and then the chips would be ultra processed.
Okay. So Bree, you were right with the corn being, Bree and Erica, with the corn being the natural, the first one, the whole food. But Erica was correct with the canned corn as being minimally processed. So Bree, I can see why you chose that as ultra processed, because we think of canned foods as being preserved. Mm-hmm. However, the canned corn is still in its whole form. It's just been removed off the cob, and it has been preserved in salt and water and put in a can so that it can last for a long time on a shelf. But it is still whole corn. So the canned corn would be the minimally processed, and it is just as healthy as the corn on the cob if you rinse it and you remove all the salt from it. And it hasn't really been cooked. It's just because it's been preserved, the texture changes a little bit, but it's being preserved only in salt and water. So that would be your minimally processed one. While the chips, where you've taken the kernels, you've ground them up and you've made them into chips, that's your ultra processed option. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And shall we go to the next then, to the rice?
So I'm going to say brown, white, and then cereal.
I think the same, yeah, brown, white, then cereal, because Isn't like there's like aren't don't they bleed like turn the rice white?
Yes. So you're both correct. So it's brown rice first, and it's brown because they have not removed the outer layer, which is the bran from it. And that is your whole food example. Now,
Mhm.
white rice is rice with the bran removed. So it goes through a processing, minimally processed, because you're only just removing the outer layer, but you're also getting rid of a lot of the nutrients when you are doing that and a lot of the fiber. And then
Mhm.
when you grind it up or puff it or use heat to create a crispy rice cereal, then you are ultra processing it to make that. Um, there are sometimes some bleaching practices, but it's not always the case.
Mhm.
And it's mainly with flour more than you would see that with rice, Brie. So the rice is mainly white because they are removing the outer husk, the bran. And we can move on to the next, the yogurt example or the milk example.
Okay. So I would say milk as in whole, the yogurt in the middle, and then cheese in a can. Yeah.
Do we
Cheese in
agree?
yeah.
Well
I
done.
believe, yeah, yeah.
Well done. So our milk is our original, obviously. It's our original source of dairy here. And then yogurt is usually made through a live culture introduced to the milk that turns it into yogurt. And then cheese in the can is a very good example of an ultra processed food because it doesn't really resemble milk very much. It's been quite processed to get to that stage. And then going into the last one with the juice.
Okay. So orange whole food. Then I would say orange juice, and then orange sports drink.
Do we agree with that? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
definitely.
is correct. So your oranges, your orange juice, you're only just squeezing it, minimal processing. An orange sports drink contains very little orange juice in it. It's mainly water and electrolytes and some other stuff. So it is definitely ultra processed. So when we started talking, Brie, you spoke about making a healthier choice. You chose sweet potato fries instead of regular fries with your meal the other day or today. So, what are can someone, think of some other ways as well or examples where we can make healthier choices when dining out?
Um, Maybe swap out like because I know you can do like instead of the buns, you can do like a lettuce wrap.
Yes, you could do that. So, swap out the white bun for a lettuce wrap, which is some vegetables. So, adding some vegetable to your meal.
Yep. Or substituting the fries with a vegetable like broccoli. Sometimes they give you that option.
The option to do that, that is definitely a good swap.
Maybe choosing like a grilled chicken than a fried chicken.
Yes, choosing a different cooking method. So something grilled or broiled or something like that rather than fried. That is a very good swap.
And then I think another way that could be helpful is cutting the portion in half, like not eating the full meal, but eating maybe half of it.
So yes, if you have a big portion, that is such a good idea. You can either take the rest of it with you, for another time. Um, and like you said, just have half of it if it's a big portion. That is a very good, um, um, it's not a swap, but that is also a way to control or balance your meal while you're eating out. Any other ideas? Oh, sorry.
I'm thinking also probably maybe not opting in for like the creamy sauces. I know that like looking at knowing how many calories or butter is included with with those type of sauces.
That's true.
Yeah.
So maybe asking for your sauces or your dressings on the side rather than having them all over your plate or all over your salad. That's a very good way to also control how much fat you are intaking, because usually those sauces will be high in fat. Those are some wonderful examples. So let's see if we've covered. Yes.
I was about to say before you put it, I was gonna say like choosing, like instead of choosing like really sweet stuff, sometimes like there certain restaurants or stores will have like a special tea or a lemonade that they made that's like better or less sweet.
Yes. Yeah, so controlling, what you're drinking as well, or maybe let's say if you want a sweet tea or something like that, you can ask for the tea and then you can ask for the sugar on the side and you can control how much to put in it. Choosing water over sugar sweetened beverages is always a good idea. It's not always fun, maybe, to just have water with your drink, but maybe you can have whatever drink you like in a smaller quantity. You don't have to get like a big cup, for example. So it's not about limiting or not eating the tasty stuff. It's about having a bit more, being more mindful with the portions that we consume of these tasty foods. Because how much fun would life be if you couldn't eat out or take out a meal or order in? It wouldn't be fun, or have a soda every once in a while. Again, our health is a product of what we do on a regular basis. So doing these things every once in a while is okay. Choosing water over sugar sweetened beverages, or maybe consuming less sugar sweetened beverages, is a way. Dipping instead of pouring. Erica, you were on the, you hit the nail on the head with that one about the sauces. If the portion is large as well, you've already mentioned that. And using leftovers or adding raw vegetables to complete a meal. So if you're cooking at home, you could also do that, repurpose your leftovers. Or if you're bringing them in from a restaurant, you can add to them and make them a meal, and by adding more vegetables or fruits. And you could choose dishes, Brie, you mentioned that, baked, broiled, grilled, roasted, or steamed rather than fried. And you can split your entree with a friend or take the rest of it home to eat later.
I like that idea.
Oh, this looks like it's a heavy slide, but I promise it's easy to go through. So obviously, we don't live isolated in the world. We are always exposed to a lot of messages. We are exposed to a lot of messages about food through marketing tactics that manufacturers, restaurants, supermarkets use. And we are constantly exposed to these that sometimes we don't even think about it. So we want to be mindful of how we are being influenced. And a lot of the time, for example, I'll go to the second point here with advertising. You might see something that says low fat or zero sugar or all natural Or I don't know, if you can think of other examples, please let me know. But if you actually look at the ingredients or turn the package over, so usually if you're in a supermarket and let's say you're going to buy a box of crackers and it says all natural on it, on the front, usually the front of the product is where companies can make any claim that they would like. They can say non-GMO, all natural, I don't know, whatever claim they want to put. What you want to do is turn the package over and look at the ingredients and look at the nutrition facts label, because there is where they are required by the USDA to actually say what really is in the product. The front of the package, they are not required. They can put whatever they want. Does that make sense?
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. So it's good to know about this because you can make smarter choices. So when we're talking about marketing these foods, it's not only what's on the shelf. Restaurants do it as well. Big food chains do it as well. You might see ads on buses or in subway stations or on TV, you know. So we're bombarded by a lot of messages. They will, if you kind of look at the image on the right with the burger, the Baconator, you know, they will use big images so that they draw your attention to that product. They might show a family all sitting together consuming the product, so they might appeal to you on an emotional basis and kind of try to evoke a warm, fuzzy feeling with everybody sitting and enjoying it. That could be a tactic. And they might use celebrities to market it. This is the oldest trick in time. I'm going to date myself here now, but when, you know, Pepsi or Coke or whatever want to market their stuff, they'll always use, you know, a celebrity to do it. I remember when I was a kid, it was Michael Jordan. He was so big in basketball and he had a Coke commercial. So they will leverage pop culture in a way to market what they want, and so that kids can go to their parents and say, oh, mom, dad, I want to try this, I want to buy this, can I have this, so on and so forth.
They attach artists. I know that hip hop artists to the food and name the hip hop artist food. This is their burger or this is their meal. Yeah.
That is very true. They will have celebrities endorse their products.
I know I've seen like a recent commercial with a soda brand, and it was they did a old school commercial with like Doja Cat, and it was like, what's the movie? I guess John Travolta is in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Fever?
No, it was like him and the girl is dancing. Oh God.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction, maybe.
No, it's him and the girl is dancing. It's like, that's it?
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. It's gotta be
Pulp Fiction. Oh yes. That's an older movie. When you said Doja Cat,
I wasn't going to do that.
They'll just like singing, and it was just like all about Pepsi and everything, and I was just like, I don't drink Pepsi though.
They will leverage. They will leverage, you know, celebrities. They will do whatever it is because they are big companies. They can afford to do that. And their bottom line is what they have in mind. It's not our health that they have in mind. So,
or they'll have athletes. I remember a lot of times there used to be athletes on the boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cereals.
Exactly. And cereals usually will have like some type of a game or a contest, and like accumulate however many boxes of this cereal, and then you can enter yourself into something like that. And that's how they get you to do it. They're very clever. Supermarkets also, and I'm sure you know this already, will place products strategically around the store so that they can get you to buy them. So there's a reason why gum and Tic Tacs and chocolates are in the checkout line, so that when you're standing there with your 5-year-old or your 7-year-old,
yeah, they do that with the kids cereal. They do that with the kids cereal. I know it's like a marketing, like it's like the cereal is meant to be like on the lower, like the kids cereal on the lower shelves. And like they was like the way the characters' eyes are, they're looking like the kids are looking up at the
characters. Yeah. Placement on the shelf, how high the product is, depending on the audience, checkout lines. All the processed foods usually take the bulk of the grocery store, and then the vegetables and the fruits and the dairy and the meats are on the periphery usually. So who goes to the supermarket and just does the periphery? Very few people. Everybody, people will usually just go aisle by aisle by aisle by aisle, and they'll, be more tempted to buy these processed foods.
So thinking about how we shop, because we're usually getting those staples, which is like the produce, and then going to the meats and then milk.
Good.
Yeah. So that's definitely going on the peripheral, but
yes,
you have to pass all the junk in order to get to where you need. Exactly. And you have to travel the whole store. Now that I'm thinking about it, oh my gosh! Like wait a second.
Yes. The way my supermarket where I shop, like where the closest supermarket to where I am, all the produce is in the front. Right. Like soon as you come in. So then bakery, and then you head down and it's all everything else. You got like the meat department, all the different aisles that have junk food and other snacks. And then as soon as you get to like all the registers, you got like the little refrigerators that have like the sodas and the energy drink, and like the coffee in the jars and stuff.
Yes, that sounds very similar to my local grocery store here, which I kind of like actually, that they have the vegetables and the fruits as soon as I walk in. They have the bread section, but then they have a huge cake section.
Yeah, the bakery.
Yes, the bakery. Yeah, the bakery, like it's like soon as you go to turn to get to the other stuff, the bakery is like all there, and like even in the produce section, there's still bakery items like with all the desserts and stuff.
Yes. So being mindful of these tactics can help us make better choices. We saw this last week, My Plate and the Healthy Eating Plate, which encourages us to consume make half of our food, fruits and vegetables in a day, to consume our proteins, our grains, and our dairy or our dairy alternatives. So I'll just skip through that too. A little exercise that we can do again as well. And that is some meal swaps. So how can we make these meals healthier? If I'm going to have some fried chicken, white rice, a salad with lettuce and cucumbers, and whole milk to drink, what are some swaps that I can make to make this meal a little bit more like My Plate?
So maybe instead of the fried chicken, like the grilled chicken, you can do that. With the right rice, you can do like a quinoa.
Yes, I like that.
I still would keep like the salad. You can like not just have lettuce and cucumbers. You can add like more stuff to your salad. Like more vegetables and stuff, or like fruits like the cranberries and nuts.
Yes.
And not just whole milk. I mean, you change the whole milk if you're lactose. You can have like the almond milk or oat milk.
Okay. Would anyone else have any suggestions? Obviously, there are many choices that could be, made when it comes to a meal like this? Oh,
Did I change that? Yeah, I would say if it was like, are we on to meal number 2?
we're on to meal number 1 still.
Oh, okay. So, fried chicken. Yeah, I would do maybe baked chicken, palm size, of course.
Nice.
I would do the brown rice.
Okay.
And salad with lettuce and cucumbers. I think that's good. And then the milk, I would do maybe the 1% or any other milk alternative, oat, almond, soy, some of those.
Okay. So both of you gave excellent examples. Changing the fried chicken into something baked or made in the oven or roasted, that is an excellent choice. Brown rice or quinoa instead of white, that will increase your fiber as well as protein in your meal. The salad, keeping it as is or adding dried fruits and nuts to it is an excellent choice. And with the milk, usually if you're intolerant, like Brie mentioned, substituting for an alternative milk is always a good idea. Maybe even if you don't like milk, you could just have water. And going lower fat. So whole milk is high in fat, saturated fat. And there is no difference in the nutrient content, in the calcium content, in the vitamin D content of milk across different milks. So if you look at whole milk to 2% to 1%, they all are very similar when it comes to all the nutrients that they contain, except for the saturated fat. And we want to keep our saturated fat low throughout our day because saturated fat is a risk factor for cholesterol levels in the blood. It raises our cholesterol. So opting for a 2% or a 1% is a better choice over the long term. If milk is something like my children, they drink milk with their dinner every night. Over the years, we've switched to a lower percentage because this is something that is, ongoing in our household. It is something that we always do have milk. And again, our health is a product of what we do on a regular basis. Okay, so let's go to the second meal. Hamburger on white bun, French fries, and a milkshake.
Okay, so maybe turkey burger.
Okay.
On a you can do like one of those like a pita.
Okay.
With sweet potato fries.
Okay.
That's a milkshake. I feel like you could still have the milk. I don't know. You might want to keep the milkshake.
Okay.
The ingredients of the milkshake instead of like the ice, like the whole milk ice cream. You can do like, because I know don't they have like alternative ice creams too?
They do.
Or you
They
could
do.
do a smoothie.
Or
you can do a smoothie. That's a good idea.
And watermelon on the side. It's a slice of watermelon.
Or drink some water.
Or yeah. And then, throw fruit in there and slice of watermelon. It was good.
Okay. I love these swaps. Again, we don't have to change the whole meal to make it healthier. As long as it's not something we're indulging in every single time. A milkshake is okay every once in a while. It's tasty. But if this is something we're having on a regular basis, then you could think of using a leaner meat. So keep it as a hamburger, but maybe use a 90% less fat meat, for example, instead of an 80%. You could switch out your bun for a pita. Like Brie said, pita usually is a whole wheat type of bread, Or you could just switch it out to a regular whole wheat bun or a whole grain bun. You could keep the fries, but maybe choose sweet potato fries because they are higher in fiber, or you could switch out the fries for something else. But you don't have to healthify every single thing on your plate every time if you're eating out. But trying to kind of maybe give and take. You know, if I love my burger and I can put it on a wheat bun, and then instead of the French fries, I can have a salad, but still have my milkshake, that's okay.
I agree.
Yeah. And what about pasta, tomato sauce, garlic bread with butter and soda? How can we make that a little bit more health forward?
I would say zucchini. Switching the pasta out for like the zucchini noodles.
Okay.
Tomato sauce. Maybe adding some vegetables there, and then garlic bread. I would never substitute the garlic bread.
That's like brie with the milkshake.
And then the soda can be a 100% juice or water.
Wonderful. Any other suggestions?
I know they have they have a brand of veggie pasta now.
Yes.
You do that. I still want tomato sauce. Like you said, Eric, we put vegetables up in there. Maybe the garlic bread instead of butter, maybe like a different oil.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe olive oil.
Yeah.
That's heart healthy, rich in monounsaturated fats.
Still go soda, but I like soda with no dye. So I usually do like a Sprite or a ginger ale.
Okay. So would you have a diet soda or a regular soda?
I don't like diet soda.
Okay.
I know the sugar content's pretty high, especially like the sugar in the tomato sauce too. It's a lot of sweet.
So you can always go with half of that, right?
You can reduce your portion if you like soda so much. Instead of having a whole can, you could maybe have half. That could be an option. So when we're thinking about this meal, we're looking at it, and there's pasta and bread, so it's quite heavy on the grains or on the carbohydrates, and then there's tomato sauce, which is a bit of vegetable, so it's missing protein and it's missing grains. So substituting the pasta for zucchini noodles, like Erica said, would increase the vegetable definitely content of this. And maybe using whole grain bread to make your garlic bread, that could increase your grains. Maybe if you are not into vegetable pastas, you can substitute for a chickpea-based pasta or a whole grain or a whole wheat pasta. And that still will give you the satisfaction of having your carbohydrate source, but it will be more filling. And so you will tend to eat less of it. And it's higher in fiber. Definitely olive oil is a great choice for the garlic bread. And substituting the soda for another drink, or maybe drinking a diet version or less of the sugary version, is also a great swap. So there are many ways that we can modify this meal. And going into ramen, chips, and juice. Instant ramen, not the nice Korean ramen.
I know with ramen, technically it's supposed, like, one packet of ramen is 2 servings. So technically you're supposed to split it, and even with a little packet, but no one does that. No one really does that. So you could probably still do the ramen noodles, but put less of the packet, because it has a lot of sodium in it.
It does.
Chips, you could do like, you can still have regular chips. They do baked chips, or you can have like the kettle cooked chips. And then juice. I like apple juice, 100%, like the 100% juice, cranberry juice. I still keep juice. Depends on the juice.
Okay. I just want to get to Elisa's question because she asked, going back to the pasta, she said, what about gluten-free pasta? Gluten-free pasta, Elise, is basically pasta that is made without the wheat. So it could be chickpea or lentil-based or rice. But I don't think you find rice-based. Well, you do rice-based noodles in Asian stores, but in regular stores, gluten-free pasta will be mainly lentil or chickpea-based, and those are wonderful. They're very high in fiber, and they're made out of legumes. So if that is a good choice too. So going back to the ramen, we see that this meal, if we're going to think about my plate, is very rich in the pasta portion, which is your grain. And then you have the chips, which is like a ultra processed potato. And so we're missing quite a few ingredients that ideally we would love to have in every meal. We're missing a source of protein. We're not seeing any eggs. You know, when you buy these instant packets, packet ramens, it's mainly the noodles and the broth. So we're not seeing any protein source in here, no meat, no fish or poultry or egg. We're also not seeing any vegetables in here.
You want to get on?
Sorry?
Oh, no, I was asking my mom, did she wanted to add something?
Okay. So we're missing the vegetables in this meal as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
you could do bean sprouts.
You could add bean sprouts, maybe add some carrots or some, I don't know, peppers or something to this meal, because you're essentially just having noodles and that's it. Noodles spinach and a lot of salt.
I would add spinach.
Spinach.
Ooh.
So use the instant packet, the instant ramens, but add some things to it to make it a little bit.
Yeah, they have so much salt. Like, it's unbelievable when I think about how much
they do
eat those. And then like now I cannot.
They do.
Yeah.
And actually, honestly, you are better off maybe buying in the grocery store, you can buy pots of broth, or you can buy a box of low sodium chicken stock and then just put your ramen noodles in that instead of using the packet. They are very high in salt. And I actually think that this whole meal should be just flipped and made into
the whole thing out.
Just use the noodles. Add some veg.
Noodles are fried, right? Are the noodles fried beforehand?
What is that?
Are the ramen noodles fried beforehand?
They are just dried. No, they are not fried. They are just dried noodles.
Because don't they usually have like an oily kind of base? Like, I know that they kind of like, when you cook them, you see oils come out in the water.
Just by themselves, they might have some oil into the dough, kind of like, but that's probably minimal. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'd worry more about the packet that comes with it, with the salt. All right, and the last one, stir fry with beef and white rice.
We gotta get our veggies in there.
We gotta get our veggies in there. Yes.
Yeah, like shredded carrots, the bean sprouts. I know we usually add like
peas,
peppers. Yeah, and you could, if you wanted, use brown rice, but I know a lot of people that may not find stir fry with brown rice as tasty, but you could do that as well. Or maybe have your stir fry with whole grain pasta, whole grain noodles, like a soba noodle, a wheat-based, a whole wheat-based noodle.
The food's outside.
Okay.
You're whispering, we hear you. Where's the food? Who's getting food?
I I ordered Chipotle, but I ordered like the salad.
Oh, good.
I ordered the Chipotle salad.
Like I heard food outside. I'm there.
This is a timely lesson then today.
I was like, I want Chipotle, but I'm like, I don't want like all the rice. So I ordered like their salad. Their salad is pretty good. They have like a
They
good
are.
vinaigrette, and I didn't add the rice. I did add beans
Good.
and corn.
Healthy
See, we
choices.
have a real life example. That is
There you
wonderful.
go.
I like Chipotle too. I think they make it easy for you. They have so much choice that they make it easy for you to customize a well-balanced meal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so moving on, and we've already discussed this, so I won't go through this in detail, but just think about choosing whole foods whenever you can. They fuel us, they contain the protein, the fiber, the vitamins, and the minerals that we need to function well throughout our day. Try to plan your breakfasts and your lunches specifically, because most of the time for breakfast and lunch, if we're working, we are outside and we tend to order more or to tend to go for fast food more. So try to plan those. Maybe some overnight oats with some fruits, that you can put in little jars. I save my jam jars every time I go through, or my honey jars, from the store, or any glass jar. And I use those to make overnight oats. And so I have my breakfast ready for me. Every few days, I'll make a few of them. I'll flavor them differently. Something like that you could do. Or you could boil a bunch of eggs all at once and then grab some on toast with some vegetables in the morning or for lunch. Thinking of fueling yourself, thinking of my plate, getting a balance of grains and protein and veg every time will keep you functioning better throughout the day. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. So we can go on to our recipe now. And I chose a dessert recipe because when I think of processed foods, I often think of cakes and muffins and things that are sweet, chocolates and candy. And I have a sweet tooth. But there is a way where you can satisfy your sweet tooth with something sweet, but still have a healthy alternative. And this is something you can make at home. It's easy. It doesn't take too much time, and it doesn't require a lot of ingredients. And it's apple crisp, one of my favorite desserts.
Ooh, yum.
Nothing smells more comforting than a hot, fresh out of the oven fruit crisp. Hi, I'm Chef Amy, and today we're making apple crisp. We'll start by preheating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we can lightly grease a baking dish. Now we'll mix together flour, rolled oats, both white and brown sugars, a pinch of salt, and once that's combined, add a third cup of canola oil and mix again. I'm using white whole wheat flour, but you could also use regular whole wheat or all-purpose flour. So we'll go ahead and cut our apple into dice. Leaving the skin on allows you to get a lot more fiber, and it also adds color and a little bit of texture in your recipe. Now we're ready to add our apples into our baking dish. I love Pink Lady and Golden Delicious, but you can use any type of apple for baking, or you can use fresh berries. A combination of strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries all work really well. Now we can spread our topping right along the top. You can bake this for approximately 45 minutes or just until the apples are tender and the topping is golden. So there you have it, our delicious apple crisp. This is the perfect finale for your next holiday dinner or a great simple dessert to enjoy any night of the week. For this and other delicious recipes, check out the USDA's What's Cooking website.
Okay, so comments on the recipe.
Well, I just appreciate the fact that it is only a few different ingredients. It's not like a bunch of things and a lot of measuring.
Yeah, it's quite an easy recipe to make and with things that you might usually have on hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, she used whole wheat flour, which increases the fiber content of the topping. She used sugar, and you have to use sugar in desserts. We're not saying don't eat sugar. She used a combination of white and brown sugar. No difference in the nutritional value between the two. One is not better than the other. But when you're making dessert, you can use sugar, it's okay. She used apples with the skins on to keep the fiber content high and to keep the integrity of the apple a little bit so that it doesn't turn into mush in this recipe. She used oats, which are wonderful because their fiber is content is so high that they are actually proven to reduce cholesterol levels. So oats are really healthy for us. What else did she use? Oh, and she used canola oil instead of butter. Now, canola oil is a very healthy oil for us to cook in and to include in our desserts. It is high in polyunsaturated fats, which are heart healthy fats. It also has some monounsaturated fat like olive oil, which is also healthy for our hearts. Now, if you cannot fathom making crisp without butter, you could actually maybe mix and use half butter, half canola, and you will still get the flavor of butter, but you will have improved the health profile of your topping. But if not, then just use the oil. You can make this with peaches. I make this with peaches in the summer and berries, especially if I have a family dinner or people coming over. It's such an easy dessert. And having it with a little ice cream, it's okay. Ice cream every once in a while is okay, as long as we don't have it every single day, just because of its high fat content.
Right.
So if we can just go on to the last slide. And this is, as always, we always do a survey. It is optional. It just helps us learn more about our audience. If you would like to scan the QR code to your phone and then fill it out, I would really appreciate it. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask.
No, I'm trying to get it scanned. No, I think it was really great information.
Yes. I'm glad that you can do like a balance between them. Like you don't have to always substitute. Like yeah. Because not everybody always wants to substitute certain foods for certain things, and sometimes it depends on how the person's feeling. So I was like, it's good.
That's true. Again, we associate food not only with health, we associate it with family, we associate it with memories, we associate it with events. And the point is, if you're able to most of the time try to eat in a pattern that resembles my plate, where in every meal or snack, you're including some fruit and veg, some protein, some good grains, then indulging, in a cake or in dessert or in French fries or in a takeout meal is not going to harm your health. Use your common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And try different things.
I agree. Well, I thank you once again, Sirine, for joining us and Bree for hanging out with us today and sharing your tips and tricks of how you've been making conscious choices. And we're all on our way to making more conscious choices. And I thank you once again for all of learning about all of these instances, how we're getting how food is being marketed to us, and really getting that understanding.
Yes, it's been my pleasure. I have fun during these classes, and I love it when you guys interact and suggest ideas, and I learn from you as well. So thank you so much.
Of course. And next week we're going to be talking about understanding labels and ingredients.
Yes, we are.
Okay. And of course, we are going to be bringing in the blessings in East Orange this week. So you can expect us on Dodge Street and Glenwood Avenue in East Orange, giving out the blessings on Saturday and on Sunday. We will be taking a trip to Trenton, New Jersey to give out the blessings there as well. So we're looking forward to that and looking forward to seeing you again next week.
I am looking forward to it too. Thank
And
you, everybody. Have a good night.
thank you. And of course, please donate to PEPNJ.org so that we can continue to share this information as well as give out the blessings of food. And if you haven't been there, if you know, you know. So get out there early. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Take care.
So just